don't want to die with a dick on my face.
Hey guys, Jim here. Welcome back once again. Today we're going to be taking a look at yet another crazy, super affordable knife. And I'm not going to make a very constant habit of bringing out sub $100 knives to my channel, but when I find one that makes you forget about the price as you're fondling it, as you're using it, I think it's absolutely worth bringing out. This is also a new brand, and I always get excited about bringing out new brands to people, exposing you guys to new opportunities for great designs, for good solid carry everyday knives, and that are actually available. You know, for so many years, for so many knives that I brought out, it was, hey, you know, this is a custom maker that made one of these, or this is a custom maker that has a 5-year wait list, or their books are permanently closed, or sorry, you can't get one. You got to go look on the secondary market and, you know, pay all kinds of crazy money. I really do appreciate bringing out something that is affordable, if it's the right knife at the right quality, and a knife that's actually available, so that if you get excited about it, you're able to go out and shop for it and almost always be able to get it. And that's going to be the case with Eikonic Knives. Now, Eikonic Knives came to be basically as someone that worked closely with Riot Knives, helping to represent them at shows and things like that, and spending a lot of time within the industry and also as a collector. Their mindset is allowing them to work in both arenas, seeing what people want and seeing what can actually be produced, and doing it hopefully always at an affordable price. This is a budget line of knives, but they're well made. And not only that, they are bringing in serious, crazy talent to do their designs or to commission their designs from them. In this case, it's Ramon Chaves. Yes, that Ramon Chaves. You are getting into a Chaves design for $89.99. I hate saying it with the pennies on there. For $90. And I got to tell you, yeah, it's not a 229. It's not a custom, obviously. But think about this. For the price of this one knife, this one Chaves, you could buy 4 of the RCK9. And for a lot of people, that's going to mean the difference between saying yes and saying no to a knife design that they're excited about. Because let's face it, not everybody in this hobby of knife collecting has this expendable income where they could just drop thousands of dollars on a knife. I get that. I've been on both sides of this, where I really shouldn't be spending money on knives, so I'll search out something that's somewhat affordable, but it's still got to be exciting on a lot of different levels. And I've been on the end of spending $10,000, $12,000 a month for several months and years consistently on separate individual knife purchases and knife orders. So I've seen it from both sides. And I understand the importance of finding something that's going to not only work well, but also excite you. Because I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. You can spend less than $80 and still get a good knife. You can go down to Walmart for $35, $40 and find yourself a knife that's going to cut down cardboard and cut zip ties and do other knifey shit. but it's not going to excite you. You're not going to wake up and you're not going to look across 15 of those Walmart knives and go, oh, I want to carry this one, but man, I really love the blade shape on this one, and I love the materials on this one. I love the scales on that one, and I really want to carry this one. Oh my God, which one do I carry? It's just going to be, okay, it's just a tool. I'm going to grab it and throw it in my pocket. And for almost all of us, while the knives are tools, it is something that we get excited about. Think about when you order a new knife. You literally cannot wait for it to arrive. You're excited about that purchase. Even the most pedestrian of knife purchases, you're excited about for some reason. Like right now, I have a knife on the way to me that I am beside myself with excitement. And unfortunately, tomorrow I'm going in for surgery, not very fun surgery, and I have a very long recovery. Assuming I wake up from the anesthesia, this could be my last video, so hey, enjoy. But assuming I wake up from anesthesia, I am already thinking in my mind, I don't care how much pain I'm going to be in, I'm going to be excited when that box arrives. I'm not going to be able to sit up or get out of bed for a few days to retrieve it and play with it, but I know it's going to be there when I'm capable. And I'm so excited to tear into that box. And I'm equally as excited to share it with you. It's going to be a few weeks before I sit out here and do this again. So I understand that feeling. And if you feel the same way, then you realize the importance of finding a really good knife at the price you want to pay that excites you on some level. Now, let's get to the TLDW, shall we? Too long, didn't watch. For those of you with short attention spans, I got you covered. Pros, great size. I really like the size of this knife. Would I prefer it to be a little bit larger than a 3-inch blade? Sure. But again, I have a whole big collection, so do you. It's nice to have some variety. Most of my knives are 3 1/4 to 3.8 inches in blade length. That's kind of my sweet spot. Every now and then I want to carry a little bit of a larger knife. I got a couple of those. Every now and then I want to carry a little bit of a smaller knife. And I've got a couple of those. And this fits well within that. Another thing that I think is really, really cool. Let's get a tight shot on this. Bada bing. And that is the dimples inside of the lock. I dig that. That's not necessary. They didn't need to do that, but it's a nice little stylistic choice. I don't know if it doesn't serve any purpose. It's not like it's serrated or jimped or anything, and it's actually giving you more purchase on the lock, but it looks really cool. And this is an Eikonic thing, not a Chaves thing. This is going to be across all of the Eikonic models that are currently available, regardless of who designed the knives. I think it is a very, very cool design aspect. Just a little bit extra to look at. Next thing is going to be this wonderful, smooth action. And you have to realize this is a knife that has not been broken in yet. I may have flipped this knife 20, 30 times when I did the unboxing of all the Eikonic knives. And by the way, please go watch that video because I'm going to make at least one, probably 2 more videos. But I had multiple knives to play with, and you might find one that tickles your... I really shouldn't say that. You might find one of those that tickles your fancy that I may not be doing an independent review of. But yeah, I've had very little time with this knife. I've been reviewing like a madman with a lot of different knives. And so I could expect that the more this gets played with, the smoother it's going to be. Another thing that I really, really like is the detent. Now, this is a manual opener, so there's a fine line. You need a detent that's strong enough to always hold that blade in and keep it from falling out, but not be so hard that you're struggling and you're breaking the skin of your thumb to break the detent with the thumb studs. The 229 is a little bit of a stronger detent. but it breaks in very, very quickly. And now it's almost effortless. When I first got it, it was a little bit of a challenge to get that bad boy open. But that's the difference. That's what makes or breaks, for me, a good folder with thumb studs. It's got to have that perfect detent, and they tuned it very, very well. Blade is centered nicely, as you see there. And I'll even give you a close-up on the lockup so that we can more easily see that. Get it to focus, and there we go. So really, really, really early lockup, but I do see full engagement, so that's not going to be an issue. It is steel liners, so it's going to have a solid engagement that really shouldn't migrate very much over its lifetime. Next is the blade profile. This is a wonderful utilitarian blade profile. This is going to do every type of cutting task that you ever throw at it. It's going to slice really well. You can do rocking cuts very, very well. The tip is nice and strong and beefy, and you can obviously cut open boxes and all that kind of good stuff. It's high flat ground, so it comes down to a pretty decent thin behind the edge. I didn't measure it. Oh, gosh darn it, I knew I'd forget that. I'll try to remember to go out to my shop and grab my calipers and measure it before I upload the video and maybe put it up there somewhere in the text. But it's very slicey. Just overall, it's a wonderful utilitarian blade. And it needs to be because it's designed off of one of Ramon's earliest designs. And he's always been about practicality. It's always a brutish knife that does its job for cutting. It was never really about making a pretty knife, even though he has made many gorgeous knives. He sticks with a fairly straightforward, straight-bodied, straight-backed, very simple, straightforward designs that just work. And this is another great example of that. It's also very, very sharp, as I mentioned, very sharp. I've not really played with it a lot. It's cut a little bit of paper. Again, I haven't been able to spend a lot of time carrying it and do the other things. This is one that is going to be staying with me in my pocket and thrown into my rotation because I enjoy the knife just the way it is. So I expect that it's going to get plenty of cutting, and it seems to be very, very good for that. Now, it's D2. It's not going to hold an edge as long as most of the other steels that I prefer, but it's also not really all that challenging to strop. Again, before you go removing material, putting on fresh edges all the time, strop your damn blades. You could strop and strop and strop and strop and strop and strop before you need to resharpen. But yeah, so it'll be easy to strop, easy to resharpen when that time comes. Very large sharpening notch. Very easy access for even the most inexperienced of sharpeners. Another thing that I really dig, and again, this is a stylistic choice that has been made by Eikonic across all their knives, and that is their flat face pivot with the very deep engraving. I love that. That also eliminates the need for this, but they are establishing a new brand, and right now, they kind of need to get that brand name out there and not just a logo, so I'm understanding where they're coming from on that. But I really like how that pivot looks. It's very handsome. It's very clean, and at some point, when that's all there is for the markings for the brand on the knife, it's going to be a really, really clean way of doing it. And the last pro is going to be the price. Let's be perfectly honest. For $90, I've got a knife that I can beat the living tar out of. I'm not embarrassed to have it in my pocket because it doesn't look or feel cheap. It works in every way that I want it to work. And I think it's even a step up for a lot of people that typically are going to be shopping in that price range. I think you're going to dig it. All right, cons. Something that I had mentioned in the unboxing was I didn't like all the billboarding on the blade, especially when you've already got your logo there. That could have been handled by just a simple, lasering of the name there, or perhaps somewhere else that was, or just smaller. But as I talked with them, they said, hey, listen, you know what? And that's why I mentioned it a few seconds ago. We're a new brand, and people are going to see images of the knife. And, at some point there's going to be customers, they're going to be giving their testimonials, and they're going to be holding up their knife. And it's going to be important for people to see the brand name of the knife without having to do further research or digging, looking for a caption and waiting for the person to talk about the knife and say who's it made by, who it's made by. Wow. So I get it. I hope that they kind of cut back on it down the road. I think that would be advisable. The other cons for me is I'm not really a fan, not only of this color, I don't like OD green at all, but I'm not really a fan overall of the G10 color choices. I mean, for me, I understand you're doing G10 because you're trying to hit this $90 price point with all of your marketing costs and starting up a new company and this really nice custom-made packaging, all these things that have to get factored in that most people just don't think about. I don't know. If it were me doing G10, I'd be doing bright blue instead of steel blue. I'd be doing blaze orange because everybody loves blaze orange. The two different reds of G10, the original red G10, which is more of a maroon. Now there's a bright red G10, like a fire red G10. There are some, and the gray and coyote tan. Like there are some great color choices out there. The three choices that they give you don't excite me on a personal level, but that's the choices that are there. I will tell you this, though. Keep an eye out in the future when they've really dug their heels into the industry and they've got a good foothold. You're going to start seeing stuff like maybe carbon fiber scales and things like that for a few dollars more. But right now, it's important that they get a good product out at a good price, and doing G10 is the way to do that, or micarta. I'm so glad this isn't micarta. There are Eikonics and micarta. But again, that's a personal choice. There are plenty of people out there that love micarta. Another thing I'm not a fan of are, quote-unquote deep carry pocket clips. For me, it just doesn't make any sense. People try to argue it. I have to have a deep carry pocket clip because I work in an office and I don't want people... Listen, it doesn't matter if this much of the butt of the knife is sticking out or this much. Regardless, if the entire knife disappears in your pocket, there's still a clip hanging out on the outside of your pocket going downward. They know that's a knife. They know it's not a pen. They know it's not a, fucking magnifying glass or something. People are stupid, especially in masses. But in general, people are smart enough to figure out little things like that. So you're not fooling anybody. I want a deep carry. No, you don't. Everything about a deep carry pocket clip makes my life more difficult. It's harder to get the knife out of your pocket than a clip that allows some of the body to stick up where part of your hand can grab onto it, having a little bit of meat on it. But since so many people just don't shut up about, I gotta have deep carry pocket clip, they made a deep carry pocket clip. Why? Because it's gonna satisfy a lot of people. They did a good job with it. The retention's really good. It goes in and out of the pocket nicely. You've got this hole here, and yes, I know it's really made for you to be able to tie a lanyard off on, and you can. It's also required for you to get through to the hardware to remove the clip. But the side benefit is that you, without applying a lot of additional pressure onto the clip, pushing it to the body of the knife, you can kind of get your finger fat in there and help extract it from your pocket easier and getting a good purchase on it. So, not my favorite style of design. However, it still beats the paperclip wire designs. So kudos to them for not doing that. And that's really it for the cons. And really, those are just personal nitpicks and all things that are most likely to change in the future. So it doesn't really bother me. Let's get to the specs very, very quickly. Overall length, 7.10 inches. Blade length of 2.9 inches in D2 steel. That is a tool steel. Remember, it can rust, it can corrode, so you do want to use products like Aegis EDCI solution, or the KPL has a special solution. Use something as a corrosion inhibitor that you can rub in and help protect the steel. But it's It's not like you're going to look at it sideways and it's going to rust. It just needs more care than a full-on stainless steel. D2 is borderline stainless. It's almost there, but not quite there. Your close length is 4.02 inches, and your blade is three-quarter height flat ground that is both bead blasted and tumbled for the finish. And that's it for the specs. Now, my overall thoughts, I think this is a winner. I think they did a really great job on this knife. The quality feels much more significant than the price would dictate. And there's still going to be somebody out there who goes, yeah, but that should be an $80 knife, not an $89 knife. They're crazy. Dude, what do you expect? You're spending, at any point, you're spending under $100, and it can be a design that has good ergos, that you enjoy the appearance of, the design of. It has properties that will work well for your lifestyle, so the blade profile, the edge, the action, the things that you personally look for. And it does knifey things as its requirement. I think you're winning. You don't really have to worry about, oh, it should be $78.82. I think it's a perfectly fine price, especially given the fact it is a brand new company and they're putting everything out there. You're not pre-ordering these. And I think that spoils a lot of people. And there's nothing wrong with any brand that does a pre-order. Please don't mistake what I'm saying. But the customers have gotten so used to, well, man, yeah, this knife over here, that's the titanium frame lock with this steel and these bearings and this and that, and I only paid $260 for it. Why should I pay $310 for that other knife that seems to be the same? Because a lot of times that difference is going to be one was done on a pre-order and one was done where the company laid out all the money. They bought or made all of the knives, and they are sitting on that risk. They are sitting on that inventory. And you're going to pay for that. Always. Yes, we've gotten spoiled with these pre-orders. Yeah, we get kind of, I'm not going to include me in the we, but collectively we get upset when they go, oh, okay, well, I placed the order today and I got to wait 7-8 months for it to come in. You're doing it because you're partially financing that knife run. That's why you're getting the discount, the price that you're getting. Eikonic isn't doing that. They didn't do a pre-order. They manufactured all of these. They manufactured all of their custom branded packaging. Excuse me, I forgot the name there. They paid out to these really big name knife makers to commit to having their designs. They manufactured custom hardware. They did all of these things and then offered them for sale. Sure, if this was a pre-order thing where the knife didn't exist beyond renderings and 1 or 2 prototypes, and they're going to take those orders and then place the order, yeah, you probably would have gotten this for probably about $75 to $80. And they didn't have to do any risk. A handful of customers may back out at the last minute or cancel their order or something. But for the most part, those knives were paid for with the pre-orders. They made their profit and everything all up front. Everything's done. And they can reinvest that for the next prototype that they want to make. Because you still have to pay to do that. These guys took the risk. They put themselves out there and went, we feel we have good ideas. We could do it at the right price and offer a good product. And they spent, I wouldn't even fathom a guess, but a lot of money to make all of these knives. And you can click right now onto any of their dealers and buy them right now. They are sitting there waiting for you. That's the difference. So for me, $90, stupid, crazy, ridiculous deal. And you can't tell me otherwise. Ha. Let's give you some size comparisons up against the Riot-made 229 Chaves, which is his production series. It is significantly smaller significantly smaller, but also significantly lighter in weight. Put it up against the only OD green G10 knife I own, and that was only because when they dropped these, I went to grab the carbon fiber, and it had already sold out within seconds, and it was only G10 left, and I went, hey, doesn't matter to me. The knife is so amazing, I'm gonna overlook that. And that's kind of how I feel about this. I don't care that it's OD green. I really dig the knife. Plus, it works well with FDE, which you saw in the in the photos earlier. This is the Terrain 365 Invictus ATB in Terraventium. One of the knives I truly treasure. I love as an EDC knife. A lot of it is because of its neutral ergonomics, which this also has. Its fantastic blade shape. This also has a fantastic blade shape. And the size and weight. Here, a little bit smaller, a little bit easier to carry. And, is it really lighter weight? It's about the same weight, within an ounce, I would say. As a matter of fact, I think it's time for me to break out the scale. I don't know how I forgot to before this. All right, let's actually see what this bad boy weighs. 3.8 ounces. 4.5 ounces. This is lighter in weight. I didn't think that it would be. Well, I guess I kind of knew it would be because it's smaller, but you've got steel here instead of titanium, so I really wasn't very confident. So yeah, man, it's small, it's compact, but yet it's still got a very robust blade profile. Fantastic action. It's one of those fidgety knives where you're like, I really like how the action feels so much that I just kind of want to sit here and play with it. And that's probably what you're going to do. Can I reverse finger flick it? Oh, yes, I can. Yes, I can. Here's another thing that I really dig that they really didn't need to do. Take a look at those scales. They are slightly shadow boxed. So they're a little bit smaller on all sides, all the way around, allowing you to see a little bit more of the frame, which I kind of dig. It's kind of a neat idea. It also means that at some point, they might be able to offer replacement scales in a variety of colors that excite you, and you could just quickly interchange them. That would not be a challenge at all. Plus, I like that look. I like how the light just bounces off of just the edges there. So it's not just all dark green G10. So overall, my thoughts are, man, for $90, I don't see how you can go wrong. I think that this is a brand that people really need to start paying attention to and get in on early because, you know, everything in the world's going up in price. Everything. Look at friggin' eggs, for God's sake. So you know what? A year or two down the road, these might not be able to be offered at $90. Maybe they're going to be $95 or they're going to be $100 in the same configuration. I can't, predict the future, but it's a distinct possibility. And to get in on the ground floor at $90, I just think it's a really good deal. I think it's a good value. And it's a knife that, even though green doesn't usually do it for me, I've made an exception one time before, and I'm very, very glad that I did. And you know what? I really do dig this a lot. But here's the funny thing. This is my second favorite of the new Eikonic line. The next time you see Eikonic under my lens, you're going to see my top favorite. And it's just barely edging this one out. But there's just a little bit to it that I just go, I like this one just a little bit more. So stay tuned for that. Let's hope that I wake up tomorrow morning and I can come back out here and that wasn't like some ridiculous cliffhanger that you'll never get resolution to. Like the TV series you're addicted to, they leave you on a cliffhanger, then, oh shit, fuck you, canceled, and nobody ever gets to realize the continuation of the story. So I will be back, and I will see you on that video, and I'll be happy to share that with you. I'll try to get that done fairly quickly, but I got a couple of really cool, much more expensive goodies on the way that I really want to share with you first. So I'm going to stretch those out just a little bit. And I'll see you on that video.